two, and one. We are live. I'm going to send a tweet and I'm going to send a text to my significant other who will be listening from Jersey on assignment. And
Oh,
double boom. Hello, we are
wow.
here.
hmm
Hi. Good evening and soon to be good morning in about 6 minutes. It's your boy, Chris Kennard, along with the living legend himself, Arc Intel, aka Living Abstraction, aka A Allure, aka Hollywood's worst nightmare. Shout out to Jordan Peele. We are back for our hopefully final round discussing 12 incredible songs from each of us about from just like a decade ago, songs that we enjoy
hmm
very much. We got through about 8 of each. We still have like 4 more to go. You closed last time. I'm going to start with the art trap duo that has won our hearts again and again and again. You might say they began again sometime later. But
hmm
I'm of course talking about Purity Ring and the song Obadier. Like it's so funny seeing people react when like I played like their songs like Fine Shrine and like
hmm
Grand Loves and like, yo, what kind of music is this? And I'm like, dog, it's art trap. Like hipster girls will twerk
Yeah,
this stuff.
you
Like
know,
when you hear the song, how does it like hit your ears, my friend?
it's definitely like another one of those songs that it just takes you for a loop. It takes you for a loop and it really just has you in this space where it's like, wow, okay. Like, yeah, it definitely sounds like the early 2000s. Like everything we thought about the early 2000s and hipsterdom and the rise of indie culture, like this perfectly represents, I would say, like like the good parts of it, like just how,
Yeah,
like, in the mainstream commodification of indie, it really was supposed to be about like mainstream music really becoming much more adventurous. And while over there never really did go in the Purity Ring never really did go transition into the mainstream like that. I would You could
unfortunately.
argue, yeah, you could argue that there's some foundation of what a geez, I can't believe I'm forgetting her name right now. And she like is like one of the most popular pop artists of all time.
What
It's not
song? What song?
um uh bad at love and Nirvana.
Halsey.
Yeah, Halsey.
I was
I
just
can't.
talking about them to some friends actually earlier because I was playing Ghosts 5 by Nine Inch
hmm
Nails and I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, they totally like gave Halsey like the production bag and like I don't know if I really liked I Am Not a Woman, I Am a God so much, but
hmm
maybe I'll give that like another spin. I don't think I put Halsey on my list. Did their first album come out in 2012 or like a little earlier or later than that? I need to look that up real quick. I have my
Halsey,
phone on me.
Halsey, I believe Halsey, she came into prominence in like 2015, because like 2015 was when
But the
I
first,
remember
oh, you're totally right. Badlands came out in
yeah,
2015. And while we're on the subject
yeah.
of Halsey, I'm gonna do a quick like pronoun check because I don't know.
hmm
I just want to verify that real fast because I'm always it's because I think that Kaylani also uses they them pronouns, and I want to make sure I don't
Uh-huh.
forget. I feel like if it's easier for me to like remember public figures that like
Uh-huh.
artists identifying differently, and like like Demi Lovato and stuff like that. Let me check that real
Oh
quick.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like
And
most people don't know that they've like those types of figures have like updated their pronouns, and I want to be more like vigilant about that. Okay, so Halsey
oh yeah,
uses
yeah,
she/they
yeah.
pronouns, so now
hmm
I know we're good. But I wanted to be absolutely sure because that shit is very important to me these days. Um,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
back to
So
Purity Ring. I wanted to like it's so funny how like I feel like with the when Purity Ring exploded onto the scene, not only did they drop
mhm.
that really amazing like Soldier Boy cover of Grammy, but like after like the success of their first album did so well, we had a lot of like duo acts explode like Fantagram
Mhm.
and What was that one group that did, I really want to
Oh,
go outside? Cults, like Cults, they did their
yes. Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. I did I don't was it, I might have been called it might have been called because I know the song you're
Definitely
talking
Cults because they
about.
they
Yeah.
got the feature with J Cole on She Knows and stuff like that.
Yes, yes, yes,
We can all thank
yes.
Pure Ring for all these duos that blew the hell up. Like even Black Cards featuring Pete Wentz and BB
Yes.
Rexa sometime
Mhm,
later and things of that nature. Like it's all
mhm.
because of that. Maybe I'm not trying to like follow like that distinct like appropriation of trap production, but like one could even say
Yes.
that like their like style and like direction influenced K-pop because a lot of K-pop that's not just out like bubblegum and like I don't know, like trying to copy Max Martin is explicitly going for like that lo-fi, moody trap sound that you can find in artists on AOMG and stuff like that.
Like, yeah, yeah. I mean, and you know this evolution into K-pop scene way better than I do. But it is interesting how like with K-pop, it's there are those acts that take a lot of elements from like 2000s R&B acts. In fact, there was even
Yep.
like one. I think there was even one K-pop crew that like did their own like we we look into the 2006 BET hit, which hey, anyone remember DJ Webstar's Chicken Noodle Soup and like
Oh,
how
you're
that
talking
song
about
was like
J Hope remixing the song with Becky G, which
yeah.
I was okay with because I think that J Hope is one of the more interesting members of BTS, and
Mhm.
like with I know like Rap Monster, RM, Namjoon, and one other member I know are like explicitly like hip hop dudes, and like I wish
Oh, hey.
one if I can go on a brief like BTS tangent, it's like I know a lot of older
Yeah.
fans
Yeah.
or older people on
Mhm.
Army like they wish that more of like the hip hop elements would return to BTS because I do like songs like My
Same.
Universe and DNA and stuff like that. But then there were songs like War of Hormone that really like displayed like how much energy and like you know what it really like separated the wheat from the chaff because like
Mhm.
earlier when like songs like Dope were blowing up for them they were still like neck and neck with EXO and now that EXO is kind of
Mhm.
like on the wind down and they're like still steadily rising to the top. It's like bring more of the bars back because it makes me so sad to know that RM did a song with Wale that virtually didn't like pop off for either of them, and that's so frustrating
Yeah,
to me.
yeah. Yeah, and they also and actually how I first got into them, they had done this track with Designer that I
Oh,
really
the mic
was
drop
hoping.
remix.
Yes, yes, yeah, which I was really hoping would like I think it was cool with their scene, but I was clinging on to the song in whatever glimp of a hope I had of Designer not becoming a one hit wonder, which
Oh,
eh, which
I have to say speak on
yeah.
designer real quick because it
Yeah.
was like because I really liked Panda. I like that Panda disrupted the
Mhm.
system, and that I also like
Yeah.
how when Timmy Turner came out during like the freshman freestyle, it like
Mhm.
it sounded ominous and spooky, and it kept that element when like Mike Dean put his production on it. I really liked like
Mhm.
lyric content is a little like when you like look at it, but like I just love the
Yeah.
sound, I love the singing, I love like the beats, I love like they changed the key towards the end of the song. He
Mhm.
had one additional song that I really liked, which was called Outlet. That beat
Uh-huh.
slapped so hard. Oh my goodness gracious. I love that
Yeah.
beat. I love how he was like just like dancing all over like the production with like his just like
Mhm.
erratic ass flow. I didn't care for his verse on the mic drop remix because and I
Mhm.
think I sincerely believe that Steve Aoki made that beat into a better beat. But like I
Mhm.
think that the boys like did enough to under that didn't really I just wish the designer's verse was better. It felt like he just threw that shit together and sent it over and I can't believe they accepted that. It should have been, someone should have said nah, this shit is not it, we need more bars because like it for a remix of that caliber it should replace one of the original verses on like the first remix, and it was just
Yeah.
it was so mildly disappointing for me, and I could see why it just got swept under the rug. I only heard like his
Mhm.
verse on the remix because a friend was kind enough to point it out to me because like it was not
Mhm.
giving what he thought it was giving.
Yeah, sadly, I think that with designer, like to this day, I would say that like his best like post 2016 work was the song Price Tag, which came out back in like 2018, which
I didn't hear that
unfortunately,
actually.
yeah, I'll send it. I'll send it to you. I thought it was a great song. It like I think he like improved as a lyricist. I mean, you could
Oh wow.
definitely understand what he was saying, and it was definitely, I don't know, I thought the beat was nice. I thought he was energetic. I think the problem with, not let's say with that song and more his album rollout, was that this was in 2018 when his former record label was doing the whole good summer thing where it's like, hey, I'm gonna release, and it had,
Oh, the seven album
Kanye was,
releases.
yeah,
Yeah, he was
and
not part of that.
his, yeah,
Wow.
he wasn't a part of that. And the thing is, even people who were a part of that, like Tiana Taylor, even they kind of got pushed by the wayside, because when you talked about people, it was going to be about Kanye, it was going to be about Cudi, it was going to be about Pusher,
Push.
and if you weren't those guys, you would get a residual
You're a
love,
shit out of
but
luck.
yeah, but even that. So imagine not being a part of that. And the only promotion I see of that song is on one music video and a guest appearance on TRL, the revamped TRL, aka
Ugh.
the TRL. Which, hey, is anybody listening here? Tell me the last time you watched TRL in the 2010s. Exactly. But
Wrong place, wrong time, and one might even say wrong host. And
mhm.
I'm not saying that CJ Youngfly isn't funny, or no, I'm sorry, DC Youngfly isn't
Yeah,
funny, but
DC.
like I don't think that like his comedy style was the right fit for that show because clearly like whenever he pops up in your city to do jokes, people come to see him. He's funny as shit, but like I don't think that was necessarily the right venue for him per se. We need to like it worked for Carson Daly because he's like he already had clout in the first place and like he had a lot of pull from in
Hmm.
TV and like the artist he was like a silhouette and like you focused on the artist, you know what I mean? Like the only thing I remember was the reboot about TRL because there was like a national tragedy happening when the show was on air once and Billie
Yes.
Eilish like publicly declared her love for Tyler and wanted to like meet him and do some production with him and I really hope they work together in the future but that's
Yeah.
neither here nor there. Last thing I want to say
And
about designer. Oh,
yeah.
you go ahead. You
Yeah.
go ahead.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You go ahead.
And it was also the first mainstream debut attention of Brockhampton. Their first like big mainstream
I
performance
missed that. I missed
was
that
on
boat.
TRL. But yeah,
See, wrong venue. Should have been on Jimmy Fallon.
exactly. So but yeah, you were saying.
The last thing I want to say about designer is that like I just love that he didn't have a verse on Champions with like Kanye and Co, but he was just doing a shit ton of ad libs, and it did help the song honestly because
Mhm.
yeah, like that was probably like the last time I enjoyed anything Kanye related because that was like on the heels of Gucci getting out of jail. He had like that brief verse on that song. Like I
Mhm.
love that triumphant beat. And I love that like it debuted on Big Boy's Neighborhood. Like that was
Mhm.
that it really meant a lot to me before things really went south, if you will, in like the good music camp.
Yeah.
Like I to this day
Yeah.
have not heard Diet Coke, and I do not wish to. And I love how funny like the title of the song is. Since it's a Pusha song, I can't in good conscience listen to that shit. I can,
Oh
however,
yeah.
listen to
Mhm.
songs like 1997 by Saint Motel, the next song on our list.
Yes, thank you. Oh, thank you. By the might I add, that is beautiful
Please.
transition. By the way,
Thank you.
thank you so much. But yeah, okay. So yeah, same. So in ye old year of 2012, there
Oh
was
my
a
god.
certain there was a certain band that was just getting some attention, and who would end up, okay, maybe not so much blowing up, but I can definitely find more people now who know them or aware of their work now than they were in 2012. And that was a cool, I would say, all indie, if not progressively indie band by the name of Saint Motel, all the way from the good old state of California. And this song was from their official debut album called Voyeur. And they had already been kind of kicking some steam here and there. I believe they had released a bunch of EPs around the time, two EPs. Their debut EP, which had some really cool songs like "I Loved Butch" and "Eat Your Heart Out," and "Pity Party" was my absolute favorite. And I also love, and I don't know if it was on Voyeur, but it might have been on their other EP. They also had a really cool song called "To My Enemies," which also had a really cool, lovely murder mystery esque music video. But
Wow.
1997, this song was just, it just gets you from the opening, which this really brilliant, simple but memorable piano riff, and something like that. Da, 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 da. And then the horns come in. They've always done a great job of implementing brass instruments into their songs, which They've done it so many times, like on Benny Goodman and Cole Covan and stuff like that. And then we come with 1997, which, I'm gonna be honest. For years, I thought this song was kind of like their cheeky response to Smashing Pumpkins 1979. I don't know why I thought that. I just thought, oh hey, 90s nostalgia and Smashing Pumpkins, and everybody loves that song. So I thought, oh, okay, this is like just kind of like a response to it, and also kind of just about people hanging out, and but also, and how much you love those people, but how much your parents want to push you away from them. It wasn't until like years later that I finally found out what the song was about. And I swear, when I found out, I wanted to like slap myself in the face, because it was like, how could you not have known that this is what the song is about? But
What's the song about?
okay, so history lesson to people here. Um, Back in they had existed since the 80s, but back in the 90s, there was a cult by the name of the Heaven's Gates
Oh
cult.
no.
Yeah, so, and you can tell where I'm about to go. So I'm gonna
Oh,
try to not be too
glib.
explicit, but
Yeah.
yeah. So this cult, like a lot of cults, has these really kind of nutty beliefs about their connection with a higher power and the afterlife in general. And in the year 1997, they, along with all their members, took those beliefs in a higher power, in a heavenly power, to their ultimate conclusion. So yeah, yeah. So that's what the song actually is about, and it, I'm also, to the Petersons. I tried to put this song on your wedding playlist. I didn't. I found out at the last minute.
Hey, hey, hey,
I'm
do not
so
snitch on
glad
yourself
you
right now. We are live on the
like.
internet. Do not snitch on
Okay.
yourself. You don't need this
Uh,
kind of scrutiny going forward. We have another wedding to
uh,
plan, okay?
okay. But thank you for deleting it, though. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. But knowing this, knowing this, how does this impact my relationship with the song? Well, I like it. Well,
It's
thankfully,
just a
I still
story, I
very much
guess.
like it. Yeah, I still very much like it, and I think it improves the way I see the song more now, because in it being about cults and a person in one, it also kind of speaks to that connection that a lot of us, people in our age, people a bit younger, and us who we're going older, we're never going to stop needing people in our lives. And we're always going to be in this space where we feel alone, where we feel alone. We feel as if they're like we are these vulnerable people in this world. And when we can find those people that at least try to act as if they are there for us, it can be very hard to want to let go of that. Even when every logical person, such as the mother in this song, is like, hey, look, these people are dangerous. Do not go towards those people. Like, like, please, I am worried about you. Please, you are getting yourself in danger being with those people. But the protagonist in the song is like, hey, mom, please, like, please life is already hard for me. Stop making it harder by getting rid of these people who mean so much. And I don't know, and I think that's a message that is vet I think is it's never really going to stop being relevant. I think, especially in this incredibly hyper online culture in which we live in now. And whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on Twitter, Reddit, 4chan, other places I won't bother mentioning, there can be this cultish community that can make you feel loved, can make you feel accepted. And even if it is a potentially dangerous thing, you don't really register that because, you know, the world in which we live in, it is so easy for us to feel so alone that, even when something is staring in our face, that it's like, okay, these aren't the best people to be around with, you're still kind of attracted to that. And and honestly, in knowing the unfortunate story about Heaven's Gate, it honestly song by such a great band, like Saint Motel, all the more, all the more brilliant, all the more, like, relatable, and just all the more like a testament to just how really kind of like as much as it is pop music, how very intelligently well crafted these pop songs are. I mean, how did you feel about the song?
Um, the way when you finished your half of the playlist for me,
Hmm.
I was like listening
Hmm.
through it while playing some Hades, and I just remember how pleasant it sounded, and
Hmm.
it felt very like casual ballroom. Like this is the kind of music you hear, and like when you're it's giving Archer for some reason. Like I imagine like Archer
Hmm.
going to like
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
suave ballroom where like like he's getting a nice drink, he's trying to like like flirt with the ladies and being a little sloppy and stuff like that. It makes you want to do like
Hmm.
a nice soft shoe across like the dance floor and things of that nature. I wasn't really paying attention to the lyrics, but I'm sure that it's all I'm gonna be able to think about when I hear it for like the second time. And I liked it right away, and I really just
Hmm.
like it's such a fun, warm feeling when songs you hear from a person you love and trust, like you like it right away. And
Hmm.
that's how these cults, these fandoms come to be. So how about
Hmm.
we move right along? In fact, let's go listen to this song by
Yes.
Matt and Kim. Let's go. And for those who may be unfamiliar with Matt and Kim, it's a drum and keyboard duo that are happily married.
Hmm.
And like known for songs like Daylight and Cameras and Block After Block, Hey Now, Yeah Yeah, songs like that. When I first heard Let's Go, I'm like, what is this, like this trash? I'm like, oh, this song is just so like boring, but just
Yeah.
Like the millennial whoop, like it got stuck in my head, and like
Uh-huh.
there's video of like that dude on the basketball court doing all like those fancy moves and such. It
Yes. Yeah,
it just
yeah.
like
Yeah, I
I
remember
couldn't
that
get
one.
away from it for some reason. It's just so like it's the kind. I feel like the kind of song they wanted to write for radio, and it's just it's so pleasantly obnoxious with the "Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go." Like I
Yeah.
couldn't turn it off. Like it's it's in my DNA. Like I can't just like I can't deny how like it puts a smile on my face, and like so much like sometimes when like you listen to like this kind of hipster bullshit, it's so like serious and like trying to like oh respect my art, man. Pat and Kim wanted you to have fun. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes,
there's
absolutely.
no agenda with their kind of music. And it's like so often when we have people who love one another make music together, it can be like kind of like messy. But we don't see that
Mhm.
when they perform. Like if you've ever seen their videos, like they're in public, just like causing a ruckus, like enjoying themselves, and that. And so, like, I appreciated that about this song. It makes me just want to like. It reminds me of like scrolling through Tumblr like for hours,
Yes.
just like reblogging all sorts of cool video game concept art and stuff like that. So I'm very I'm very thankful to what this song brought for me. What does it mean to you when you hear "Let's Go" by Matt and
Oh
Kim again?
yeah, it's definitely like very indicative of how like in the late 2000s, early 2010s, if you were talking about the indie scene, you had to mention Matt and Kim. And I mean, okay, yes, indie two pieces are, not uncommon. In fact,
All the rage.
a yes, a song on my list is also from an indie two piece. But yeah, I agree. But yeah, I agree. What you said about Matt and Kim was completely on the ball. Like, yes, they were just a bunch of guys who really wanted you guys to have fun and feel their energy, which is what really made songs like Daylight, which was completely all the rage in like 2009. That and lesson learned is an oh boy, that lesson learned music video. Like
Is that the one where they're walking through the street naked?
yes, yeah, yeah. No,
So
and I'll
good.
always
So
remember.
funny.
Yeah, I remember, and I'll always remember in the 2009 MTV Woody Awards, back when they used to do that. Back when they used to do that, like they had all their background singers also strip off their clothes, and I'll always and I remember Tech Nine. Okay, Tech Nine would end up winning an award at the Woodies, and he was like, yeah, and I think he said something. He says like, yeah, I technically have two Woodies now. There's this thing in my hand, and then there's the Woody I got seeing Matt and Kim and all those other guys before. It's like, oh, man.
Too
Yeah,
Susio. Too Susio.
yo, man, Tech Nine, man, but yeah, Matt and Kim. Hey, man, yo, but yeah, Matt and Kim were just this incredible ball of life. And if I don't know if there's any song that they're remembered by other than Daylight or and Lesson Learned, it's all yeah, it is without a doubt Let's Go. Like that is if I'll also argue that Let's Go kind of like some of these songs, like like a good deal of like songs of the 2012 of the early 20 to 2010s, they did kind of capture perhaps the optimism of what we thought that decade was going to be. And I guess for a very short while, what that decade actually kind of was. And I'd say, and hey, man, if really oh yeah, and by all means, and like next to Passion Pit, Phoenix, a lot of that scene, Matt and Kim are in high need of a comeback. Like
Oh,
God,
I agree completely.
like please, because I know Matt and Kim they've still been doing their dance, but this is more on the audience. Like, please let Matt and Kim back into your life, guys. Like we
Please.
need these guys. We need these guys so much. But yeah, I absolutely love the song, and I'm glad it meant a lot to you back then. Hmm.
Yeah, it's like going to your cousin's house. You're just like
Hmm.
playing video games, like no
Hmm.
nothing. This isn't like this is us. Like we're just like chill with the homies. You know what I'm saying? Like eating
Hmm.
snacks, enjoying each other's company. That's what that song means to me.
Hmm.
Next song, you're like, oh, we need more Matt and Kim. You know what we also need? Check from Danny Brown. The next song on our list is "Growing Up." Easily another one of like the
Yes.
greatest videos of the year. Easily top 25.
Yes.
Danny Brown is one of the best rappers alive, and I'm not just saying that because again hipsters love him. That motherfucker can
Hmm.
rap. You know why he's one of the best rappers of all time? Q-Tip respects him. Q-Tip gave him beats. Like
Yes.
Q-Tip don't give beats to
Yes.
any old Joe Schmo off the block. You know what I'm saying? Like he's one of the few
Yes.
rappers that I know can go to a show. Like his set on Primavera Sound, where he comes out to like Iron Man by Black Sabbath. He had no
Hmm.
backing tracks. I didn't watch the whole set, but he didn't have any backing tracks when I watched him come out. And the only other rapper I know
Hmm.
who does that is fucking Lupe Fiasco. Do not fuck with Danny Brown.
Yes.
Eminem respects him. Come on, like whether you
Yeah.
hate
Yeah.
Shady or
Yeah.
not, like he is one of the most important rappers in America, easily top 15 in Detroit. I don't know. I don't claim to know all the Detroit rappers, but he's top
Detroit's
15
finest.
without question. Like, should be fucking top five. Listen, Fantano
Hmm.
gave that motherfucker a 10. Atrocity Exhibition? Are
Yes.
you kidding me? Ain't it funny how it happened? Do not fuck with Danny Brown.
Yes.
I love
Oh
Danny Brown so
yes.
much. Just like so much energy and chaos and like
Hmm.
almost evil. Oh, and
At
so
times,
like
yes.
with
Yes.
with a song like Grown Up, like it's that old school stuff. Like he's telling you about like how he what's happened to him in his life. Like what
Hmm.
I respect about Danny Brown so much is that a lot of rappers will glorify drug use, and in a
Hmm.
way that kind of makes me uncomfortable. But with Danny Brown, it's like, yeah, I did all these things, but you should not do as I have done because if you're going to end up
Yes.
like me if you do those things.
Hmm.
Shout out to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yo. Yeah, Danny Brown has just been so consistently himself, and at the same time simultaneously evolving in brilliant ways. Like 2016, I don't know anyone who was dropping an album like Atrocity Exhibition, and his follow-up, definitely a personal favorite of mine, you know what I'm saying, which, yes, did have the Q-tip blessing with and lovely of that legend to see through it. But yeah, was also just kind of represented a soulfulness, and at the same time him like very much keeping to his strengths but still trying to see where he can evolve, and strengths which I felt were in perfect display on Grown Up, which I believe, I don't know, it's funny, for all these years I've listened to the song, I never actually checked it out. I believe it samples Gorilla's Tomorrow Starts Today.
I'll verify that now while you're talking.
Yeah, in fact, which, and I thought, that sample was used very well. And yeah, Danny just complements the beat so brilliantly, and he's just like, once again, taking you on this
Yep,
ride,
it does.
taking you on this. Yes, thank you, taking you on this ride on just, hey, how things were not really that great for him growing up, but he always kind of kept that belief that, like, as you get older, better things can come and can happen to you, and being able to experience that evolution in your life, and yet still very much being yourself, and not selling out your values. I mean, I think it's a song that, I remember loving when at that age I was 10 years ago, and something that I definitely feel more akin to now. Like, yeah, hey, is it like, And keep in mind, like rap, hip hop, like most cats you hear about, like when they blow up, are like in their late teens, early to mid 20s. Like literally, Danny Brown's first like big mainstream album came out when he was 30, man. And
That'll be us this year.
yeah, yes, which which 30, not to be confused with the Adele album of the same name, which we know. But if you two ever want to do that collab, by the way, I mean Adele,
Oh
Danny
my,
Brown, come
no,
on,
oh my God. All right, listen. Okay, all right, listen. This is going to sound out of this world insane, but hear me
hmm
out. The producer Danger Mouse got clout
legend,
by doing.
yes,
Oh my God, so
yeah,
cool. We should do some beats from Danny Brown, but he got clout by doing the Gray album. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
Like the Jay Z Beatles thing, and like like the
yes,
headhunters were after our king, and he has narrowly escaped. We
hmm
should get someone to do the same thing with Triple X by Danny Brown and 30 by Adele. We need
yo,
somebody to fucking just make those albums, do the fusion dance from Dragon
it
Ball Z, because that shit is going to go stupid if I can do my
it
Juicy J impression.
absolutely needs to happen. Like,
I'm tweeting
hey,
that shit
if
before
you're
we finish this stream tonight. I promise you.
yeah,
Good the fuck morning to all of our
please,
listeners.
please, anyone, if you're on Twitter, YouTube,
We need
SoundCloud,
to get DJ
and
Cumberbund in the chat
please,
right now.
please, we'll do. Well, please,
Oh
please,
Christ.
it needs to happen.
We need
But
Dr. Bricks in the house right now.
yes, but yeah,
Get
Danny
like the
Brown,
Shmo
yeah,
Yoho to do that shit.
yeah. But yeah, Danny Brown, he's just been a guy who's been so comfortable in being himself, like has been able to evolve and change his style and yet keep that same spontaneity that made him so brilliant. And yeah, and it shows perfectly on a song Grown Up, which I'm so glad that 10 years later is still I'm glad that 10 years later Danny Brown still has a space in the hip hop conversation, because once again, unfortunately, like, look, hey guys, I was
Underrated.
there, yeah, in that whole indie underground hip hop scene of late 2000s, early 2010s. A lot of guys who we gave a lot of love and clout to, unfortunately, they're not
Where
still
they at
here
though?
with us. And somehow Danny has still been able to keep himself in that conversation, which doing that, which once again, while still being him, and that, hey,
That iconic
all my
laugh.
flowers to that man, all my flowers to
Um,
that man.
I'll say two more things. Like, if you haven't, you should watch Danny's episode of The Cave with Kenny Beats. So
hmm
funny. Like, just such a great person. He's just like, listen, I'm a grown ass man. I do my raps and go the fuck to the crib where he can do some drinking and smoking. And if there's one artist you should drink and smoke to, it's this next one. It's Tame Impala with a very obvious selection of Feels Like We Only Go Backwards. If I can just like
Ah,
wax
yes.
poetic about this
hmm
song, because I love music so much that it makes you want to cry. Like, I'm sure you feel the same way about a lot of music. I'm sure most
hmm
people in this chat feel the same way. The first time I heard this song was because of Tyler the Creator sharing the link to that like Australian kids choir that like sing
hmm
popular songs, and they were singing this song, and I'm just like, wow, I never heard a song like this before, and like it was just like the way they broke that shit down with just like the drums and the vocals, the harmonies. I'm like, wow, like this is so tight. And like Kevin Parker, like you changed music forever, because I hear songs like Eventually and Same Person, Different Mistakes. I want to cry on the floor in a corner. I love what you've done for music. You've changed it forever for me. I'm so thankful for you, because like I just like get into like a really like weird headspace, depressed headspace, and I put that
hmm
song on, and like I want to be in a crowd where we all just sing that song and just like look at ourselves and where we've gone and where we're going right now, and just like just how uncomfortable and unhappy with like the way that like things have turned out for us. Like that song makes it okay to be like, what the fuck have we done to our lives, to this world we're living in, to our towns, to our cities, to one another. This
Mhm.
it's like damn, it's like it illustrates how I felt about the world around me for so long, and like it's so like the most simple. It's a simple song. If I could quote the Shins, it's like,
Yeah.
oh my, I. It's such a great song, and it captures something about rock and roll that everybody respects, even if they don't like partake of that specific fruit. Like, eh, how do you feel about this song, my friend?
Tame Impala, he's like that's like what Kevin has really stood out in terms of music. Like he's I feel with good confidence in saying that like Kevin's probably the most like definitely the most noteworthy guy to come up prominence in the 2010s. I mean, just the cult in which he was able to kind of develop himself with his music, and how yeah, it has been able to get that mainstream love. Shout out to him being a musical guest on SNL back in 2019. It has been able to maintain that, get mainstream prominence. And shout out to Rihanna for covering one of his tracks.
Love her version of
You
that
know,
of Same Mistakes. It's the version I
yes.
prefer.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's a lovely version, but yeah, and I think what Tame has this song perfectly represents what's so cool about Tame. Like it's the hazy psychedelia of it all. And yeah, that same lyrical relatability about us as people, want trying to move forward, trying to move forward in society, that and yet somehow it feels like we just kind of keep on um learn the same old lessons. And and that's and yeah, that's something I know I can relate to. I think like this year, the past few years, especially like this one, there've been so many situations where it's like I where in trying to make a new stride in my life, I feel like I end up kind of being pushed back to the same place. And there is that frustration. There is that frustration about everything about the life. I'm trying to live and stuff like that. And it's always great. And I think something that's so great about about Tame's music is that yeah, it still has kept that same relatability, even with all the mainstream recognition. And even I don't know, I think it's even kind of become a joke now. Or hipster hips well, okay, not even like hipster girls, but just wow, go on her Twitter page who wants to talk about how much she likes Tame Impala. Yeah, but it's like, but Tame Impala is still
I
good
mean, why
though.
wouldn't you? Like, have you heard that shit?
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah, 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 yeah. Like, but jeez, like, but yeah, hey, I get it, I get it. Where if we're not making fun of women for liking Tame Impala, we'll make it fun of dudes for still being into Broadband.
Identifying
And
with the lyrics of that particular album, which
yeah.
I just referenced. Yikes.
Yeah, yeah. So
Oof. Boys get a
it's
therapist. God damn.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, there's something. Yeah, sure, make fun of it as much as you want, but there's something to love. There's something that a lot of people really connect to. And I think,
Listen,
yeah, I think considering what Tame was able to accomplish in the 2010s, which while once again still very much keeping true to themselves. But it just kind of makes me all the more excited. Like, hey guys, I mean, whatever you guys end up doing next, I'm all for it, man. I mean,
yeah.
and yeah.
The next song on our list is "The House That Heaven Built" by Japan Droids. But there's only one thing that I want that house in heaven to have, and that's fruit salad. Yummy, yummy. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know. Like, who the fuck would have thought that the Wiggles made the best version of a Tame Impala song I've ever heard in my fucking life?
Hmm.
Babe, what?
Yeah.
It sound I didn't really care for Elephant when I first heard it. I'm like, whatever. It's the kind of like old school rock worship I don't care for. Like I really prefer new school shit. So I don't really of all like the big tame songs that are out there, does nothing for me. But just like that different approach to an already good song, it has endeared itself to my heart forever. Just like the sheer joy on everyone's face listening to that, like
Hmm.
making the music and like such a great keyboard solo, like the drummer is happy as a clam
Hmm.
playing the drums. Just the vocals are perfect. And just the do 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 do
Oh man.
fruit salad. Amazing. Perfection. It brings me such joy. And I got to that shit late, babe. So I'm just
Yeah.
like, man, let me shut up before I make a fool of myself further. Tell us about
Now, and
Japan Droids, a band that what?
okay, so okay, in talking about Japan droids. Oh wait, what? Uh,
Bev will tell you.
no,
We'll tell you after the stream. Bev, we'll tell you after
yeah,
the stream.
what tell you? What tell you? But okay, but okay. So in talking about Japan droids, I gotta look back at this old Village Voice article from 2013 because this blurb that a critic, I believe his name is Michael Tedder, wrote about
I'm like,
them, and still makes me laugh.
okay,
Frank Ocean, Kendrick Lamar, and Japan Droids were on their J.J. Abrams this year, taking over long-running franchises like R&B, rap, and rock, and reminded us of why we liked them. Now I remember reading this
wow,
and being yeah, and I remember being reading this being like, okay, yeah, yo, Frank Ocean, Channel Orange, that changed the game. That changed the
mm,
game. You know, I mean, alternative R&B had always existed, but but Channel
next level
Orange
shit.
really kind of yeah took it to the next level. Good Kid, Mad City. Yo,
Ooh,
that is brilliant. That is an amazing album. That is really the album that okay, I'll admit, even I did not know. Even I did not know how much that album would pretty much kind of change the trajectory of hip hop and how like Kendrick Lamar would kind of somewhat instantaneously go from being this cool young upstart into being like the de facto goat of the 2010s. So
yup.
so then we got to Japan Droids with Celebration Rock, and I'm like,
Who?
okay, what? It's like I'm like, okay, so this album is going to be the new standard of rock going into the 2010s. Because keep in mind, yeah, because keep in mind, you know, because keep in mind, Gaslight Anthem had already released four handwritten, and they kind of sounded there was somewhat of a similarity, and then the
I don't see it. Not
Killers
gonna lie.
and yeah, very blinkety miss, but it's kind of there. And the Killers had just released their other albums. Like, wow, man, maybe
Ooh,
this is the direction rock is going to go in the 2010s. I mean, kind of like, yes, this is earnest, kind of like a Springsteen-esque lyricalness in it, but
balls
it'll
to the
also
wall.
be, but it also have this very hard hitting very replacement-esque energy. It's like, yeah, this is the direction we're
Ooh.
going in. And that was not the direction we went in at all.
No,
No.
sir. And I want to snitch on myself right now
Yeah.
because as much as I claim to like love all sorts of genres, all sorts of bands, love the variety, I have never in my life ever listened to this band until this year. Full disclosure. It's just one of
Yeah.
the, it's like Japan Droid is just one of those band names you know in passing. You see them on like the posters for tours in all the magazines like Spin and shit like and Consequence. And I never was curious enough to like, and I feel like there's shit like, and I want to like fully admit to you here that when we were
Mhm.
building this playlist together, you had two songs from Celebration Rock, and it was this
Yes.
song, "The House They Haven't Built," and Younger
Younger
Us.
Us. Yeah,
And I'm like,
Younger Us.
wow, this shit is amazing.
Mhm.
I wish I trusted myself or anyone else around me to say, this song is so good. You should listen to it. And
Mhm.
like the numbers don't lie. Like you go to Spotify, there's still like a solid plus 100K monthly listeners, even though like they haven't, they put out like they haven't dropped since like what, 2017, but like
Yeah,
dropped
exactly.
a live album 2 years ago. So
Mhm.
it's like there is something there that I think that the world missed out on, and like it's unfortunate. I think the only time I even saw those dudes because one Canadian um broadcasting thing was bringing in their like big regional acts to like react to music around them, like
Mhm.
KD Lang and Bare Naked Ladies and Lights
Yes.
and like Billy Talent and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, if for anyone out there who hasn't heard Japan Droids, if you like stuff like Billy Talent, you'll love Japan Droids. So like, damn,
Yeah, and really, talking, House that Heaven Built, which I would say is probably is going to go down in history as like their most beloved song, their most beloved song.
Mm,
It's really the song that if you were to talk about, wow, why do I love this band? What makes them so good? It's this song. It's this one. It's also, young. There's also younger. Yes, there is also Younger Us. There's also songs like Wet Hair, and such as well as Fire's Highway and Evil Sway. But I think what made the Japan Droid so work is because it's really them using those influences, those punk rock and classic rock influences, and just go in the distance with them. Like, yes, there is this very, very, very frantic driving guitar sound that once again kind of reminds me of Let It Be or Tim era The Replacements. And once again, that just the way the singing is coming out, once again, Brian King, who definitely took from the book of Paul Westerberg, which is this kind of delivery that's like having, geez, I can't believe running on empty. Yes, it's very much this kind of running on empty
wow.
delivery, where it's like he's using as much energy. He probably doesn't have a lot to say to you, but he's going to say it as loud and as passionately as he can. And and yeah, and those stuff that really gets you. It is, you feel the intensity, you feel the speed, but as you listen to the lyrics, you also kind of feel the heart, the heart he's putting into these songs. And so much of like so much of Celebration Rock is, once again, this kind of like replacement and Springsteen-esque. We're going for broke, we're trying to move on with our lot, we're trying to move on with our lives, we're trying to like go, like, move ourselves away from the baggage of whatever this place has with us right now, and we're completely going for broke in trying to go to a new place in our lives. And you just believe every single word of it. You believe every single word of it, and you know. And yeah, this certain lyric from the song, it's a lifeless life with no fixed address to give, but you're not mine to die for anymore, so I must live. And yeah, just that very defining message of, like, once again, like, moving, trying, you know
You got to
trying
see the
trying
stick
yeah,
through the end.
yeah, moving on, like, trying to move on from the bad stuff of your life, and moving on to becoming a trying to evolve into being a different person, and being willing to kind of leave stuff that holds no value for you anymore behind, even though you're the only one who probably believes in yourself with that. And yeah, in Japan, and Japan droids, this really was an absolutely amazing album. And yes, I mentioned that village voice comment because, yeah, because by all means, I really did think this was what the future of rock music in the 2010s was going to become. And rock music, and by all means, rock music in the 2010s was still a thing. But I guess on the mainstream front, it was pretty much, Imagine Dragons or Get Out of Here, which, no hate on
They're
Imagine
still
Dragons. It was, no hate on Imagine Dragons. I've heard you guys are like really, really cool, nice people. And if I ever bumped into one of you guys, I'm sure, like, I would definitely dap you guys up. But it's like, man, it's like, man, this is what rock music like came in 2010s, like,
dog.
on a mainstream level. It's just,
Look, it's one thing I will say about Imagine Dragons. They wrote a song for like League of Legends called Warriors, and I'm like, this song is like stupendous. Like,
mhm,
why can't I have more of this and less like cutthroat? Like, it's just like, yeah, take
mhm,
chances, do it, do things that like try some new shit out, but like maybe make that the B side, not the lead single. I don't know. And
mhm,
like, we have like a band like Japan Droids, like drums, guitars, like no bells and whistles. And
mhm.
like I hear this and I also think about like the side project of the band, the Chariot 68. Just like, like
Yes.
aggressive ass vocals, like really like raw guitar and drums. Somehow in place of that, we got Emo Girl by MGK and Willow.
Oh man. Okay, okay. So I made some tweets about that. Which, okay, if
We're
you
not gonna
don't
go down
follow
this
my,
rabbit hole, but I couldn't resist just taking a pot shot because it's like, young man, it's like you said a lot of terrible shit, like point blank period, that's never gonna go away. That you could still turn around if you actually care to, but we know that you won't. It's like you want to like be a mainstay and like a voice for our music, me and Aramide's music, and
Mhm,
you could like do your homework and like make something that like feels like it's coming from like an authentic place, because like the songs aren't getting popular just because of Travis. Like, people are resonating with the songs despite how like
mhm,
icky they feel. Like, there are like
yeah,
smart and talented people writing these songs, maybe not even that guy included, but just like, it's at what cost do we want rock back and just like in every in every radio in America? Like, is this the way things are going to be? I don't know. I
yeah,
couldn't resist. It's like pointing out like like I love my duos, like whether they be like synth based or guitar based, but like I don't. It's unfortunate that Homeboy has to be the only one where we could have like several more that like I say deserve it way more than he does. He's had
yeah,
quite a few more than 15 seconds. But
and
let's not.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
please go ahead.
yeah. And not to take any more pot shots, easy pot shots. But look, if you want to hear punk rock influenced music by people who, like, very much like felt that punk rock energy in their blood, and don't feel like they just latched onto this music to
Easy way out.
distract. as yes, as an easy way out from their lack of relevance in their previous genre, which once again, not good to mention that. Please check out the Japan Droids. Yes, and they
You
would
won't
end
regret
up
it.
release yes, and yes, Celebration Rock was a brilliant, brilliant album. They would end up releasing another album 5 years later. I don't love it as much, but it does have some good, solid songs there, and they've always, one of another great shining example of lovely people who came from Canada and really delivered some great stuff. And I love these guys. Love these guys. I love House That Heaven Builds. And I liked I'm in Love with an Emo Girl better when it was called She Plays Bass by Biba Doobie.
Yes,
Yes, yes,
yes,
yeah,
yes, yes,
you know,
yes, yes.
yeah,
Listen, Beaver Doobie, I too also wish I was Stephen Malkmus. Just wanted to say.
yes, yes.
Um, and I also want to say that in my in the house that heaven built, we do have like some delicious fruit salad, but also in that house which heaven built, we have
Mhm.
God, drugs, and hopefully sex by Anne
Ah,
Berlin. The last
mhm,
song on my list, man, like Anne Berlin and I go way back. Like, for those who know my personal history,
mhm,
between the years of eighth and ninth grade, for the most part, I was explicitly listening to Christian music. But
mhm,
like most young people my age, I wanted to be like accepted by the cooler, older kids in my school. And they liked bands like Skillet, Red, Reliant K, stuff
mhm,
like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, Yellow Card. And so I'm like, I want to like Cutlass, I wanted to like dip my toe into that pool. So you find
mhm,
bands like Emery and like The Devil Wears Prada and bands
mhm,
like Emery, just like that active rock with like that Christian coat of paint, and like truly interesting music. Like, it's a miracle they even went mainstream in the first place. Like, getting
mhm,
songs like The Feel Good Drag and Impossible into
mhm,
like the mainstream. It's like I feel like they're just a really underappreciated band that deserves more respect and due for what like they were doing with their sound. And that's why we have a song like God, Drugs, and Sex. Like, the band was known for just making long-winded songs to conclude their albums, and most of them really didn't do anything for me except this one. Like, I bought this album at Hot Topic, and to be honest, I maybe only like 3 songs on it, and this was one of them. The album was called Vital, I think. Yeah, and it came out in
yes.
2012. I was working in the mall. I would like play it in like friends' cars and stuff like that. They were on like Universal Republic, same I think at the time like Coheed and Cambria and things
Mhm,
like that. Just like I it just like very contemplative and just like long-winded, beautiful passages of like synth and violin and gang vocals. I don't know who the lady singer is on this song. I should probably find out and throw that in the comments when I do find out. Just like I really have like a fond appreciation for longer songs that just want to
mhm,
take you to like a nice, gentle, but like fully encompassing emotional space. Like the refrain is that God, drugs, and sex don't mean anything. Like the carnal, like the dampening, like like the
mhm,
numbing, and like
yeah,
like the almighty. You know what I'm saying? It's
mhm,
like for a lot of people, God doesn't mean anything. Like, for a lot of straight edge people, like you like we look down on people who do drugs or people who are addicted to drugs. And for like
mhm,
sex, it's like, oh, like we live in like a culture that like we demonize sex workers. We look down on those who are intimate with one another, who are married and such. And like we at the same time we jeer at those who don't have the options to copulate or like have children. And oh, like he don't fuck good, or like, oh, like she be fucking everybody, she belongs to the streets. It's like that shit doesn't mean anything at the end. If we're really going there, like it's very just like nihilistic, but
mhm,
just like in a very just like in a very like contemplative sort of way that I really appreciate. Because like clearly all of these things mean a lot to everyone. They mean a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Hmm.
even if I don't necessarily like do drugs, like I like eat sugar and like go to fast food
Hmm.
restaurants and like spend a lot of time playing video games and clicking on my computer and phone, like that can be a drug. And if people are going to do them, so be it. We should like be taking care of those who like may lose their way when we do them. And like I feel the people who like vilify God in such a way often misuse like the privilege they've been given, and I'm disgusted by that.
Hmm.
And I want to once again reiterate that like we ought to protect those who like, because like this society we live in is fueled by sex, like in every sort of conceivable way you can think about it. Like you can like there's an element of sex to that, and like I don't like how like we're so easy to just like cast those folks who put their literal bodies on the line for us all, just like we throw them to the wolves. And I don't, and that's not an Amberlin pun. I don't think we should do things like that. So like that's the sort of thing that comes to mind when I hear this song. Like the back half of the song is like saying, let go of me now. I'm not here. And like it's beautiful. It's one of my most favorite songs of all time. I tend to put it on like a lot of the playlists that I make for people. And I think I may, and I'm gonna continue to do so because like who's making songs like this that you listen to and go down like these sort of like deep passages of thought. Like when you hear this song, my friend, what do you think of?
Oh yeah, it's really interesting, in like you putting in songs that like very much are reminiscent of very much reminiscent of your fate and your connection with that fate. I mean, I know in terms of like Christian rock bands, like I mean, yes, I obviously was familiar with good old Reliant K, Switchfoot, once again, those guys meant a
Yes.
lot to me. And while unfortunately I don't the lead the singer who I used to really be into has since left. I don't know if he'll come back, but I was also
You mean
a bit
John
of a
Foreman?
no, I'm talking about a different band. Sanctus Real.
Oh wow, you pulled a that's a deep cut. Oh my god.
Yeah. So
Wow.
yes. So I'm not. So yeah, I'm familiar. I've never been that deep in in the the Christian music genre. I guess I tend to gravitate more towards artists that just that happen to be Christians and
Cough
stuff
cough
like
wink
that.
wink.
But to any person who is listening to this and has more Christian music that they would like to recommend to me, feel free to. So I get so Anberlin, Anberlin, a group that is so open about their fate. I was definitely down to hear that. And I think what I feel for this song, I love the serene quality of the production.
That's a great word
How
to describe
it's
that.
I love how like it is by all means like the production is so kind of serene and clear because it really wants you to think about these lyrics, to think about what they are like, what they're like really talking to you about, and how yes, in a society where we live in a society where we try to reconcile the people we want to be, the people we are striving to be, with you know with what is around us. And yes, there are drugs, there's promiscuity, and you're trying to reconcile living in that, but also kind of keeping true to your values. In fact, my keeping true to values even I have, which, as I always love reminding people that I own these Bibles that were clearly intended for like hit baby boomer hippies. To
Oh
let the
man, I'm
world
trying to
that
find mine right now.
yeah, to let the world know that yes, even I try to am trying to have somewhat of a relationship with faith and everything, so
Holy
like
shit! Let me
yeah.
go. Let me before you go any further. I'm gonna like unplug from
uh
my wall, and we're gonna go on
uh
a trip into the dirty ass rooms we can find mine because I have a KGV I have not read in years.
yeah, feel free, Jeez. But yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think the song really asked that, like, that very interesting question of like, can you be, can you be yourself? Can you be you and still honor God? Which I think it is a question that does not hold easy answers, a question that I am still, grappling with, grapple with every single day. And I don't know. I've been around a lot of people who are much more open in their relationship with God, and I think it is amazing. I think it is amazing that they can feel this connection with them. I guess it is that part of me that like that. I don't know. It's like, yes. So once again,
KGV.
yes. Once again, people, you are listening to people who are very much are connected to spiritual matters,
Kind of,
and
sorta.
yeah, and very much try to reconcile these spiritual matters with themselves. You know, but yeah, it's like,
Taking up
there
my
is
cross
that.
daily.
Yes, there is that question of like, can we reconcile the people we're trying to be, what our personal beliefs are, just in terms of the society we live in, and yet also be the people that God wants us to be. And and hey, I come across people um who have a much more rigid perception of that view than I do. And I don't know, sometimes I wonder, and I guess sometimes, in that kind of argument between that, what our connection with the high power is, does that belief in what our connection with said high power can be, does that also end up causing a rift in our relationship as human beings? Because,
Yes.
you know yes, unfortunately, and I have definitely screwed up some friendships because, I was, you know their perception of what they felt their relationship should be with that was different than what I thought that said relationship should be. And, and I don't know, and I think about it every now and then. I think about, am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? How am I doing this? And I like the and it's and I'm thankful for bands like Anne Boleyn that can really kind of confront those stands, confront that discrepancy between our relationship with God and at the same time our relationship with human beings, and also trying to have our relationship with God. And yeah, I think, and it's definitely a question that gets no easier. It seems to get harder and harder with each decade, because because life is just that challenging, and life throws us those curveballs. And at the same time, not to get too political, but certain people who would like to claim a better relationship with said higher power than a person like myself or like yourself, they do
Hmm.
they tend to they tend to do things that make you wonder what that says about their perception of their relationship with the higher power. But but hey, we've been
We
arguing
ain't down
this
with the
for decades
Crusades, my
now.
boy. That's all I gotta say
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. but yeah, I think I think this is a great song that asks some really that asks some really hard questions about reconciling the person you the person you are the person you are in real life with the person you are trying to be spiritually. And are there any easy answers to that? Are there, can it be easily solved? You know, it's perhaps not really, not easily, but it's something you still try, but it's something you still grapple with because you're still living, you're still living, you're still in this area, you're in this area, you're around these people. So it's a question you keep on grappling, you keep on like grappling with. And hopefully as you keep on grappling with, you get some more clarity as you keep on going. Yeah.
The last few things I want to say about this particular topic and about this song is that like a decade ago, I don't think I like because like these days I like bands like Sleep Token, Zeal and Ardor, and like these are bands that like actively perceive or even like Ghost, like which will
Hmm.
like toy with and like like change or challenge like the way we like see like these like spiritual strongholds. Like Sleep Token on their first album, like they have a song called like "The Night Does Not Belong to God." It's the album opener, and like
Hmm.
just like the song title alone, I never would have like even considered listening to that song like 12 years ago because I was so like locked in. And like
Hmm.
maybe like Periphery on that same album, Periphery 2, they have a song called like "The Gods Must Be Crazy." Like
Hmm.
Zeal and Ardor have songs like "Death to the Holy," and like Ghost alone is a parody of like the Beach Boys and like Satanism and stuff like that. Stuff that would
Wow.
like like things that would like make our elders like like beat us with belts and like splash holy water on our faces. And
Hmm.
like at the same time, I just want to point out to like those who may have known me in the past in churches and such, in no conceivable way is like the trial of a Christian in America is nothing compared to like the trials of the actually marginalized communities in our nation right now. And if a religion can, we talked about Frank Ocean earlier. It's a bad
Hmm.
religion if he can't say that he loves me. And like we know that specific he who Frank is referring to.
Hmm.
Like, sorry if I break the fourth wall, but like there's like a war going on in the south, in the belly of our nation, and I know what side I'm on. You know what I'm saying? And if
Hmm.
like goddamn any like congregation who would stand in the way of like young people who just want to be alive. And
Yes. Yeah.
that's the kind of shit like that. That's what this music is really for like for like people like you and me who couldn't like fit neatly into the boxes that were made for us, ones that could possibly constrict us into like
Hmm.
others who are not like us, who perceive us in certain ways, like that, who see our glasses and see like the shirts we wear and like our big bulky headphones and shit. It's like that's what this music is for and why it means so much and why we like look back with just like such like with stars in our eyes and like
Hmm.
how bands like these will bring people into our lives that'll like really transform us and just like help us see like the landscape in all new ways because of wiggly sounds in the air. And so
Hmm.
like like I just want strangers who like interact with me in social media and in my workspace to know that like I can be trusted and that I like have like that like the intentions that like I have in interacting with them know that like I'm a safe person to like confide in and that I stand next to them and in front of them in the face of those who wish them harm just for like walking around minding their own business. That's what this music did for me and does for you and a lot of other people. And I just want to make that abundantly clear as we conclude. Like this a whole hour and 20 minutes went by like it was nothing, and that just goes to show you how like passion, how much passion can fuel a person when you give them really interesting art to consume. The last song on our list is one that fills me with contempt, not because I dislike the
Yes.
band. I often love like their music. It is like the presentation in which I hear it every day when I clock in at work. It is Silenced by the Night by
Ah,
Keen.
yeah, Keen,
Like
and
listen, Keen, such a wonderful band, beautiful
lovely,
vocals, great piano
absolutely.
based rock, so
Hmm.
many joints. Like, like I wish like, and I know it's cheesy as fuck. I really wish there was a time I could hear Somewhere Only We Know for the first time all over again. And
Yes.
I think that the Lily Allen cover of that song brings me to that space because her stripped back cover like really just like gives me so much love and like tenderness. Like there's something about British based piano rock that really fucks with my shit, dude. Like
Yeah,
like I really want to know, like take us into your brain and process when you pick a song like this.
dude. Yeah, and really, okay, and Keen. Okay, well, Keen definitely were kind of part of that like UK post Britpop scene that was interesting, at least in the bands that were successfully able to cross over to the United States, wait, is Snow Patrol British or are they Irish?
Oh shit, definitely from the UK, but I don't know where they're from. I'm gonna check that out right now.
Yeah,
Because again, it's I would just so I can cut you off for a bit.
yeah.
Chasing Cars by Snow Patrol.
Mhm.
Again, a song you hear everywhere in big retail chains. I don't dislike that song like I dislike Silence by the Night. It's not that even like I dislike it. Like Silence by the Night, like I hear that way more than Chasing Cars. Because when I hear Chasing Cars,
Yes.
I have it fucks up my shit. That shit is so good.
Okay.
Fuck,
Okay.
that song is so good.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm going to admit something. I'm going to admit something that, like, I don't know if
Please.
it'll annoy you, but like, I'm going to be so honest. When I first heard this song, I think it was like May or April of 2012. My first reaction was literally like, "Ah, that's okay. That's okay." I'm like, "Well, this is your new song." Like,
But that's how
damn.
everybody feels when they hear that shit. And for
Yeah.
the record,
Yeah.
Snow Patrol is like Scott Irish. Like I guess like
Okay, yeah,
yeah,
Irish Scottish, So yeah, so my
alt
bad
rock.
to,
Our
my bad
sincerest
to
apologies.
Irish and Scottish people who hate being confused with British, and Irish and Scottish people who definitely hate being confused for each other. I am so sorry, guys.
Hey,
I am so sorry.
on this particular stream, we follow the teachings of the sons of Kemet.
Yeah. So
If I can shout out my that blonde PM from across the pond. Hey, buddy, your queen is a reptile. Carry on, sir.
yes, yeah, but yes, but yeah, Keen, they were kind of part of that post Britpop scene that came into the US in the 2000s that Coldplay really ended up being the flag bearers of, if not pretty much outgrowing that scene in general. Where yes, it was softer, it was more piano, it was much more piano based. It lyrically was not as British nationalistic as their predecessors were. Come on, yeah, but Britpop was very like British. Britain rules, America rules, that kind of stuff. But whatever. But and Keen, they never really got okay. They got attention, but they never really became, at least in the United States, that same amount of belovedness that Coldplay did. Even though I will say they were just as good as Coldplay. But yeah, Silence by the Night. I mean, I remember this was okay. This was coming off the Strangeland album, and before this, they had done an EP that had a really underrated song called I think it's "Stop for a Minute."
For
That
a
feature,
minute.
yeah, that featured Kanon. Like, I
That
don't
EP
know
is
how you
sick.
yeah, and this was like Kanon in 2010, who was like riding because the World Cup was happening, and
Waving flag
like
in like
waving flag, and he even did a song with Nelly Furtado. Is there anybody out there? It's like so. This was like
Adam Levine
Kanon in
features and shit.
yeah, like he would never be that popular again. In fact, I don't even know if he wants to be that popular again.
He had
I
song with
love the
Chub
qual.
Rock, had that
Yeah,
ABC's joint, that This Is
yeah.
Africa joint.
Yes.
Fuck,
But yeah,
so good.
but I absolutely love the song they did together. Adults like before Maroon 5 would do it, but adult contemporary songs with rap features shouldn't really work that well, but it does because like they're both very seriously talking about uh like a relationship that they value, that they don't want to be broken, even though they kind of suck right now. They both suck right now, but okay, but but I'll talk about that song some other time. But yeah, let's talk about Silence by the Night, a song which initially when I heard it I was like, this is okay, I guess. But then the more and more I kept on hearing it, I was just like, wow, this is just so spectacular. And I don't know, maybe it was because I was young and working a I had just gotten no, not working. I had just gotten fired from my crappy fast food job, a place that no longer exists, and I do not miss you guys. You guys treated me terribly, but I don't know. But I think it was just me kind of coming at a time in my life where it's like I needed that sense of escapism. I needed that sense of escapism. I needed that sense of like, oh wow, yeah, life sucks, but there's a special person that makes you feel a very special kind of way, and
Mm.
love truly can conquer, and love it can truly conquer all vulnerabilities and everything, which is so much of what this song is. It is this like, hey, once again, that very kind of like the idealism that Heartland U.S. Heartland rockers like once again Springsteen and Mellencamp were very much accused of doing that had its place of like, yeah, hey, guy and gal taking everything they have and just going away to a better place. And yeah, and I think that's what I like. I like that sense of like escapism of that song. And once again, Tom, Mr. Chaplin, man, he really is just an amazing singer, and he fully sells these emotions. Hey, like especially like certain parts where hey, I'm out of my breath, girls stick close to me because the people in this town, they look straight to me. And once again, if you are a person who has ever felt ostracized by people or by society, you can definitely connect to that. And that, and honestly, the song is just one a very well produced, well sequenced track. Everything, every part complements each other so well. I mean, Keen, like a lot of like a lot of bands that don't have guitars, whether it be like Death from Above 1979 or something. It's like it all kind of goes into, it's not about what you lack, it's about what you really how what you make it up for. And Keen were always good in making music that it never I mean it never felt it you never had this feeling of like, ah man, but if only there was a guitar right here. Like, yeah, I don't know. They always made it work so brilliantly, and I think it perfectly shows in a song like Silence by the Night, which, yes, the synths complement the bass, which complement the drums, which all once again all go back to Mr. Tom Chaplin, who really is just acing this song about, yeah, being young and in love, and believing that love and that belief in yourself can possibly save you from whatever bad situation you're in right now. I would not know that, but it is what it is. But I mean, it also, I mean, another band from this time that also had a somewhat similar song. Anyone remember the Script? They had a
I
yeah,
was trying to hold back because
yeah,
like it's like again in a retail environment you are inundated with like the biggest songs, and for some
yeah,
reason like for the longest time since you mentioned like rappers and like like adult contemporary alt rock bands, I was thinking that fucking travesty of Hall of Fame by The Script and Will I Am, and how it
yeah.
tortures me on the daily. But at the same time, from the same album, I can listen to For the First Time every day
Yes, I
because I'm
was
like,
literally. You took the words right out of my mouth. I was just about to mention that song because, yes, it's very much
perfect,
that same. Oh wow, it's us against the
perfect,
world. It's us against the world. You love me and I love you. We're gonna make this work, and we are young and in a very difficult time in our lives, but due to just our determination and our love, we're gonna make it work. And the music video is so hallmarky. Funny enough, I believe
yes,
Bono's daughter
Hallmarky.
is in that video. Like,
Yeah,
oh wow,
I
like
forgot about that.
yeah, like yeah, it was like about this young Irish couple in, I think they're in New York, and they don't like it, and then they decide to go back to like once again, hey, yeah, guys, there's so much music we were exposed to back then that I don't even know if people even like care about now, but it made an impression on us, folks. It made an impression.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you like? Well, okay, well, this song got beaten into your head. So, what is like, reconciling with how burnt it was to your head and whatnot? Like, what is like your feeling on this one?
It's so funny. It's like it's a song I've heard every day. I go to my job and whatever and
Hmm.
clock in. And like I knew it was Keen, but I didn't know the name of the song. But when we finished this list together and I looked at the completed product, I'm like, wait, I know this song. Why do I know this song? And I clicked play and I'm like, oh no, it's you. Just like the one who won't leave me alone when I'm just like at my most anxious. It's just like it's a song that I know so well and wish that I didn't. It's like my like grand conspiracy about retail work is that like you have a song and you play it
Hmm.
at a job, and like this
Hmm.
is like workplace appropriate music. And maybe like for the people like you who love Silence by the Night by Keen, they're very happy to hear that when they shop for whatever they're shopping for in these
Hmm.
environments. But what if you only played it one time and then you didn't hear it again for 24 hours? How much more could I appreciate said song? Like for the last like 3 years that I've worked at this particular job, I have been building playlists on Spotify that are 6 hours each. And I think I'm
Hmm.
almost done. I'm going to combine those like playlists into like a full 24-hour playlist of just like songs that are like offensive or like distracting from like people's like day-to-day tasks in a retail environment. And it's like, hey, imagine if you played this for like 24 hours instead of what the drivel you're playing. Like, I never want to hear Sorry by Justin Bieber and Skrillex ever again.
Uh,
But if you played like Where Are You Now by Jack U, and I only heard it that
mhm.
one time, I'd be so like stoked to hear it, and then like I don't know, like a week from later, hear it again after like not hearing it. I'd be
Mhm.
like man, this is a real this. I can see why this song won an award. Like this is a really good song, but like every half an hour, nah, dog. That's the shit that turns me into
Yeah.
the Hulk. I'm ready to punch through a wall. Gross.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, if it means anything, like around that time, like after I left that fast food job, like during the holiday season, I was working at a Target, and one of the
Holiday
areas I
season.
had, yeah, one of the days I had to, and one of the sections I had to work in was in like the seasonal section where like you really can hear the Christmas music. So like it's hours upon hours by just hearing this barrage of like mind numbing stuff from like the
Shoddy with you.
50s and 60s. And I remember the only song that made me remotely happy was Rod Stewart's cover of Otis Redding's Merry Christmas Baby. And I memorized the sequence of everything I've known. Okay, for like I'm going to feel a jolt of energy from courtesy of Rod Stewart. So I don't know. You have to like learn how to adapt to these songs. But if it means anything, my older brother who used to, watch MTV with me, whenever this song would come on, he also absolutely hated it. Like he hated I think if he didn't hate the song, he probably hated the video, which was, oh my, which he his words, not mine, was like Nicholas Sparks BS, and it was like it kind of is.
Damn.
But once
That's
again,
harsh.
yeah, but once again, it just feeds to that sense of escapism, of just wanting to be with the person you love, escaping from a place that you hate. And that is, once again, hey, I don't know. I mean, that's a feeling I felt in 2012. I'm sure there are a lot of Zoomers who feel the same feeling now. In fact, I think we are around a lot of people who also just want to take a person that they love, a person who represents their present and possible future, and not just their past, and go to a place that can also hopefully represent your future. And yeah, and that was what the song perfectly communicated to me back in 2012. And I would say I would put it in my top 10 of Keen songs for that reason alone. And I don't know where Stop for a Minute is on that list, but it's on that list. And you know, and I'm so thankful that that song also exists. But yeah, that's where all the feelings really go at the end of the day. And I think, in looking at this list, which is this very honest view of the stuff we listened to back then. But as much as these songs were a soundtrack to the people we were 10 years ago, just entering that adult world, they're also kind of soundtracks of the people we wanted to become, the people we thought we would become. And 10 years later, I mean, I don't want to be too much of a downer, but 10 years the world we thought we would inherit in the early 2010s is very much not the world that a lot of us like living in now. And I guess, and I don't know, maybe there are also a bunch of Zoomers who are around our age, around the age we were then, who also are listening to music and thinking of the world that they really want to be a part of now. And, geez, I mean, I'm not going to be a downer, but I'm just going to be like, um, be prepared to fight a lot for the things you think you deserve in life and the world you think you'll deserve. Because, yeah, in the 2010s, definitely a lot of moments, both on a world scale and on a personal scale, that could have been better without. Could have been better without. And and I guess in a way that's why you value these songs. That's why you value these songs. The person, the person you become versus the person you thought you were. But maybe it doesn't have to be that far apart. Okay, I'm never going to be exactly the person I thought I would be when I was like 18 or 19. But there is possibly still something of value here. And, to anyone who um, is really loving the music that they're listening to and it really speaks to them, you know, like, okay, maybe years from now you don't feel like listening to it anymore, but don't completely discard it. There's something you saw of value there at some point that spoke to you, and maybe there's still something of value there. Maybe there's still something of value with you. You know, just saying, just saying. I'm not. I'm no guidance counselor or anything.
I ain't a rapper, so stop rapping to me. All right, my friends
Hmm.
across the world listening to this right now. Thank you to our two listeners who are at live with us right now. Shout out to y'all. Um, that concludes our list. But wait, there's more. Before we started recording, Aelora was like, "Yo, are we gonna do the honorary mentions today?" And I'm like, "Nah, there's not enough time. Like, I knew how long we'd run talking about
Hmm.
these 8 songs. Best news is we have 12 more for you. We're gonna like come back later this month in March. Abstraction. I have like a very like I had an idea that wondering if you'd be willing to like go there with me.
Hmm.
I have in my hand the list, the honorary mentions in my hand. And as I
Okay.
can see, we have 5 of your 6. We don't have the 6th right now. I thought I'd give
Yeah.
our listeners what we have so far, and maybe you can choose a 6th song right now after I go through these. Do you think you could do
Okay.
that live?
Huh. You know, like, you know, hmm. I am willing to give it a chance.
Okay. So, without a further ado, later this month, you can come back to this channel and you'll hear the 12 for 12 honorary mentions, which include but are not limited to Hustle Bones by Death Grips, Everything is Embarrassing by Sky Ferreira, Putty Boy Strut by Flying Lotus, Don't Look Back by Miguel, Just Give Me a Reason by Pink and Nate Ruiz, The Gift of Guilt by Gojira, We Are All Teenagers by Tim Veit, We Are Not Good People by Block Party, um, Jesse AR by Said the Whale. Is that Arizona or Arkansas?
Yeah, Arkansas.
All right,
Arkansas.
Jesse Arkansas by Said the Whale, Break My Heart by Estelle and Rick Ross, and Tell Me a Tale by Michael Kiwanuka.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and
And
finally,
and finally, after much thought, I am going with a a album that came out, around that time that, it got some attention. It got attention to the circles that would give it attention. There were performances on TV. But I would argue it's true its true lasting legacy would be in how like one of the artists on that album would end up truly transforming into an alt rock megastar by the end of the decade. Uh, but granted, this song does not include them that much. They are on it, but I would like to talk about "The One Who Broke Your Heart" by David Byrne and Saint Vincent.
Wow.
Hmm.
Man, listen, I wish that I could just and watch TV.
Yeah,
Son, that
yeah.
album, like, it's so. Love this giant dog.
Yeah, yes, it
Wow.
is.
I'm
It
adding it to the
like
list right now. I'm locking it in.
yeah, it is. I still consider it like without a doubt like the best, like if not the best, then definitely on the list of best post Talking Heads than post Talking Heads project David Byrne has ever been a part of. And I think with Saint Vincent, her include, she very much holds her own in that, very much holds her own in that. But it's kind of amazing how like after Love This Giant comes out, then 2 years later she drops her self-titled, I believe, fourth album. Yeah,
I think so.
yeah.
Which one was that?
And and at that point she truly came into her own. Like, I wouldn't say the female David Byrne, because that's a pretty
That's a little derivative,
condescending
I
thing.
guess.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
pretty condescending thing to say. But like, very much. But I think it was at that point where like David Byrne felt less like an influence and more of a contemporary. You know,
You
that's
said it.
yeah, that's really what I loved about her self-titled fourth album. And I look forward to talking about that song along with a bunch of other songs with you guys at another time. But it has been
Yeah.
so lovely.
Agreed.
Mhm,
Um, like, God willing, like, inshallah, like, I really hope
mhm,
that, like, we both are here a decade from now and we do this bullshit again and, like,
mhm,
just look back in 2022, much older, much wiser, like, holy shit, we're still
mhm,
here. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? Like, maybe we'll be in the same room. I don't know. And just, like,
mhm,
go on and on and on and on and on about this music and what it's done for us and what it's still doing for us.
mhm.
That about does it. It's like 1:40 in the morning on the
Yeah.
East Coast here. Um, we wish you all well. We really appreciate you taking the time to listen to us talk and ramble, wax poetic.
Mhm,
Here's what we know to be true, and here's what we believe. Black lives matter. Queer lives matter. When
mhm,
you step out of your home, wear your mask over your nose and under your
mhm,
mouth.
mhm,
If you're going to wear a cloth mask, wear like one of those like medical ones too. Try and wear two if you can. If you can. If you can't wear two, get those K95s. Like, those are the
mhm,
ones that folks are recommending these days. Um, please get the vaccine. Please consider it. Please, like,
mhm,
consider it. If you haven't already,
mhm,
please consider it. That's my honest plea. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but please consider it if you haven't already. It's
mhm,
People are dying, and
mhm,
I don't want to die. And I'm sure if you're listening to this now, you don't want to die. Like, I want to live a long life. I want to be 100 fucking years old before I die. I'll
mhm,
settle for 70 years old, but like, we all have to do our part. So if you aren't going to do any of those things, please stay in your home. You know, like, trans lives matter,
Yes,
right?
absolutely,
Like,
absolutely.
I made allusions to it during like the Amberlin part of this section, but like, more than ever, like, contact your local representatives, sign petitions, speak about it to your neighbors, be a fucking ally. Like,
Yes.
men like Aramade and myself, we can't claim to be one. You can't claim to be one, but you can still
Mhm.
be one. Like, you're on
Yes.
the internet right now. Google how to like be an ally for the queer communities in this nation and across the world. Um, Stay hydrated, drink more water.
Mhm.
Like, please do that. Like Nick Jenkins said it best. Like, drink more water or you might die. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, go be damned. Like, stay hydrated. Like, get some
Mhm,
sleep. Like, look in the mirror every once in a while and say, I love you to yourself.
mhm,
You know what I'm saying? And
mhm.
if you can't say it to yourself, no, though, me and Aramide love you. Like, in the most platonic, supportive way possible. Keep supporting art. And we'll see you next time. Probably later this month.
Yeah.
Hey, Lord, please say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye, people. Thank you for every second you listened to.